introduction.
Okay, so I'm Grifynn Clay. I'm a senior, and this is my Bio Expo project. And I did it on gene therapy, and gene therapy is becoming like a new foundation within biology sciences. It's very useful if we figure out how to do it safely. For example, instead of taking steroids, Tristan could use gene therapy to get bigger muscles, or Easton could use it to swim faster, Emma could use it to shoot hoops better, Annie could use it to cheer better, be wittier. But right now, it's in the beginning stages and we're using it to treat diseases. But to understand what gene therapy is, we need to understand a few basics. So, for example, we need to know what a gene is. And so, we have around 30,000 to 40,000 genes in all of our bodies. And it's what determines, it's a unit of heredity. So, the reason I'm only 5'8" and I'm not going to grow anymore is because my parents' genes combined, and this is how it turned out. The reason Tristan's taller and I am more muscular, the reason you guys are good at whatever you guys are good at. So, the gene is what makes up our characteristics and our physical traits, but it also can take care of some internal traits, like I'm very immune to things. I don't get sick that often. Well, my brother does, so I got better genes on that trade-off. So, and then your genes are comprised of DNA. And DNA is a building block for your entire body, and your DNA is made of different chromosomes. And every living organism on the planet has some type of DNA. For example, we share 98% of the same DNA as orangutans. So it's really important what kind of DNA you have, because even that 2% can determine us from being orange-hairy monkeys to being students sitting in a classroom right now. So, went over the function of DNA. Building blocks. It builds the genes, so your DNA, it's like a Lincoln log cabin. Like, depending on what you want to build, you need certain types of DNA to build it. And then it's a blueprint that operates our body. So, once again, like how we fight sickness, how fast our heart beats, if we're slow, if we're fast, if we're athletic, if we're intelligent, stuff like that. And so, the reason all these things are important is because when we have all these genes in our body, but like whenever you buy something from the store, there might be some broken products here and there, and so it's the same thing within our bodies when we were born. So as we develop, some of these genes didn't develop correctly, and we develop mutations. And so these mutations could include missing a chromosome in DNA or having damaged DNA. And because of these mutations, we start to grow other traits, and they result in a genetic disorder. And genetic disorders could range from Down syndrome to SCID, ADA, and stuff like that. And yeah, so they can be hereditary. So if you have two parents and they both have like this deficiency, like they're both missing an X chromosome, you might end up with a genetic disorder. Or there's environmental factors, like people who smoke around you. You may end up with lung cancer, which is a mutation, because you're exposed to all this smoke. So yeah, examples, cancer and Down syndrome. And so here is a picture of an extra X chromosome, which is the result of Down syndrome, and why we see some people who have Down syndrome in our society. And this is an example of skin cancer. And so, because we have these mutations, we've started to discover this new thing called gene therapy. And how gene therapy works is we try to isolate healthy genes in healthy people and replace, so for example, take me.
Pardon the interruption. If you drive a white Tahoe, you're parked in our bus